Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. Our recitation is from Gaudi Mahalla Pehla. Raam Naam Chit Rapai Janka, Upjame Darsan Kije Taka. राम न जपो अभाग तुम्हारा, जुग जुग दाता प्रभ राम हमारा रहाओ। गुरमत राम जपे जन पूरा, तित गठ अनहत बाजे तूरा। जो जन राम भगत हर प्यार, से प्रभ राखे कृपाधार। जिनके हृदय हर हर सोई, तिनका दरस परस सुख होई। सर्ब जियां मह एको रवै, मनमुख अहंकारी फिर जो नी भवै। सो बूझै जो सतगुर पाए, हाउ मैं मारे गुर शब्द पाए। अर्ध उर्द की संधि क्यों जानै, गुरमुख संद मिले मन मानै। हम पापी निर्गुण को गुण करिए, प्रभ होए दयाल नानक जन तरिए। हम पापी निर्गुण को गुण करिए, प्रभ होए दयाल नानक जन तरिए. So the Guru says in the Rahao, Raam na japo apag tumhara. If you have not realized the self within, your essence, that it's really your problem. Because the self is forever present and charitable with its wisdom. Jug jug data, prabh Ram hamara. So really it's up to us on what we are going to do about it. And then the Guru tells us of a way. Raam Naam Chit Rapai Janka, Upjam Darsan Kije Taka. What he's saying is, when you see someone who is filled with devotion, go and beseech that person, that evolved individual. Beg them for their knowledge, acquire their knowledge. So learn from the experience of those who have actually realized the self. Sangat, very important. Upajapan means is from uparjana, which means to propitiate, to beg, and also to acquire. Because the mind that absorbs Gurmat realizes the Ram self. Gurmat Ram Jape Jan Pura. Pura is completion. Complete with what? Complete with virtue. The virtue of self-knowledge. That is the virtue. Because with that, from that, everything else flows. Without self-knowledge, you cannot be virtuous. So to the degree that you have self-knowledge, you are virtuous. But Gurmat shows you the way to that end. And a person who is complete, pura, with self-knowledge, in that person's life, the music of joy plays. In other words, that life becomes joyful. Jo jan Ram Bhagat Hari Pyar, so Prabh Rakhe Kirpadar. So it's all a matter of loving devotion to the self. Bhakti. Nanak Bhakti Jai Rapai. He uses this word Rapai quite often. Rapai means to be soaked, to be absorbed, like a sponge absorbing self-knowledge. And when I say self-knowledge, I'm not excluding the knowledge of any kind of knowledge for that matter, except that self-knowledge is another layer, another dimension of knowledge, which requires different faculties. It requires intuitive faculties. You see, you cannot understand or realize the self, as we say, because it is not an intellectual activity. Yes, You indeed need the intellect to first understand, but then you have to make the leap from there. You have to jump from there to actually cultivating dormant faculties like your intuition, like empathy, like an aesthetic sense. Because remember, in this process, there is a great deal of visualization that is also involved. I mean, after all, what does it mean to realize the self? The self is your essence. And as it is simply a potential. Do as you may with it. You can ignore it or you can tap into it. So therefore, it requires that you think about the essence and think about what talent, for example, you might have. That's the first step. And then you have to visualize the end, in a manner of speaking. And then you have to use different tools to get there. The intellect is only one, and it's very superficial at that. So if you want to learn how to navigate your way through life, awaken the self that is within, that is working as your intuitive self. That'll give you an awareness of the world. It'll give you wisdom, which is a sense of proportion. And when you have wisdom, Prabha, then you are freed from the trap and tyranny of the past. You see, how may lives in the past. How may is always plotting the future, but it's never in the present. Guru wisdom breaks that connection with the past. You are fresh every moment. You look at things afresh every moment without bias. So that is really what Guruji is telling us to do. On that note, until the next time, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.